Alright guys, welcome to RC Mojo. This week we've got something a bit different. I'm sure you've seen the ads on eBay. They're usually 70 quid, but with 130 quid plus for the shipping all the way from China. There's so many of them at times that they almost seem to clog up certain eBay sections. I found a seller in China that actually held UK stock and accepted a £200 offer delivered the next day. I figured it was worth a go. The few builds that I have found online look pretty good, although there's a lot of hearsay from people that I do suspect has never actually seen one in the flesh. One of the popular comments is the lack of Mercedes badge on the grille. We built up the Hercules Hobbies reefer trailer on this channel a little while ago, and it went together pretty much perfectly. I also helped my dad put together the 40-foot container and the trailer, which had a couple of very minor niggles, but nothing that took very long to work around. This then should be an interesting build. The trailer's one thing, but the truck has a fairly complex gearbox, all the steering, the coupler, along with some rather complex cab mouldings that all need to fit and work smoothly. Like all the builds on this channel, we're going to start by going through all the bags in the box so we can get a feel for just how much stuff you actually get for your money. Now, as I'm sure you've worked out by now, we've got a Hercules Hobbies Actros 4x2, the one with the single drive axle. Chosen because I want a truck with a nice tight turning circle. As much as I really like the Tamiya Grand Hauler, on an actual layout almost every turn involves using both sides of the road, and I want another truck to act as a test platform for some electronics so I don't have to keep swapping things around with the other trucks. Before we pop the lid off, I have to point out the nice picture on the front. It all looks pretty good until you notice there's nothing behind the front wheel. Surely you should be able to see some of the chassis in that gap. And I'm not sure if it's right, but there's also two screw threads sticking out from possibly the rear axle. Most strange, but it fits with the good intentions but lack of detail we see from other Chinese kits. Still, it's only the box art, so it doesn't really matter at the end of the day. Inside the box we're greeted by much brown cardboard. Not as nice to open as a Tamiya kit, but it's only packaging, it's not a big deal, and I'm sure it saves a bit on the cost. All the plastic parts trees come individually bagged with the tree's ID letter on a sticker. They're very nice and clear. There's going to be lots of parts in the box, so I'm going to have to put the box off camera and bring the bags in one at a time. But I think we're probably still going to run out of space. Right then, so first out are the K parts, the first bits of the cab. We've got the front wings, steps, and a bunch of other small panels. L parts, which looks like a complete interior set. All the details look nice and sharp, very nice, although I did later notice that one of the seat mounts, the long bar bits, was missing some plastic. It's still functional, but it looks like there wasn't enough pressure or feed to the mould. H parts, we've got the side panels and the lower front of the cab. Something you won't see on a Tamiya. A lot of the white parts have some sort of black stuff visible on them. I'm guessing they're being a bit too speedy with the cleaning. M parts, and we've got the grille. There's lots of fine detail in these, which looks to be just perfect. F parts, which comes in several bags. This one has the front of the roof box and the spoiler bit that goes on the back. This F parts is the roof box itself. The big bit from the first F parts ends up on the front. Now I'm not sure how exactly it all goes together yet, but we might end up sticking them together so we can smooth out the seam and make the entire box removable. And here's the main cab, which is unmarked, but it's still one of the F parts. It feels very solid and has a nice bit of weight to it. It doesn't feel like a cheap brittle plastic at all. Next we've got some chassis bits with the P parts. Looks like we've got the electronics tray and the mount for the coupler release lever. Q parts and the fuel tanks with the ESC and switch mount. They're convenient, no doubt, but they're really ugly. We'll have to look in at moving the servos around a bit so we can use some nicer tanks. T parts, and it looks like it's mostly the air intake bits, LED holders, and possibly some wheel arch bits. R parts, and we've got the insert for the bottom of the cab front panel. At the top there's the round backing for the Mercedes logo and some rather fine windscreen wipers. Here's the D parts, which have a rather nice battery holder that actually fits square LiPo packs, a bit of an improvement over the Tamiya that the kit's based on. Y parts, there's the rear wheel arch bits and the platform for the coupler. Now it's worth noting that just like the cab, the black plastic feels a lot like Tamiya's, not brittle at all and with just a bit of flex to it. A parts, and another bit that's very different from Tamiya's. In terms of scale looks, I think the axle is a lot better than Tamiya's. We'll have to see how it goes together though, and how it works mechanically. Tamiya's axles always go together and run perfectly, so hopefully these will be the same. S parts and all the large clear bits. Now I was really hoping these would be completely clear and not smoked, to make a certain part of this project a bit easier, but there we go. The quality of the parts does look rather excellent though. This one's a bit different from the rest. We've got the NW parts. Now I think this is two sets of parts that are combined into one parts tree. The plating looks pretty good, and there we have the Mercedes logo present and correct. Very nice. Next we've got the short chassis rails. Not much to say about them, other than they're nice and straight, rigid and full of holes. So that's all the big bags that were loose in the box, but we're not even halfway done. There's still two big sub boxes full of bits to look through. First out of the box are the J parts, where we've got the dog clutches and bearing holders for the gearbox. And I would seem to have pretty much filled the frame with stuff. So let's move the camera and see if we can get a bit more space. Well, I think we're still going to be ending up with at least 2 layers before we're done. Next then are the B parts, the gearbox cases. It looks the same as the Tamiya one, but I could be wrong. It does feel a bit thicker than Tamiya's, just a bit sturdier. AA parts. This one has all the completely clear bits like the light lenses, and like the windows, they're all lovely and smooth. They should end up looking just fine when they're on the model. C parts, and it looks like it's mostly cross members for the chassis, some servo posts, and a couple of rod ends. E parts, and just like the Tamiya trucks, we'll most likely only be using the servo saver parts from this one, and not all the rest, because X parts has a couple of bits that are compatible with Tamiya's electronics, with somewhere to mount the little switch that detects if the trailer's connected. Here we have an unmarked bag with the red bits for the rear lights. And last out of this box we have a very shiny set of chrome wheels. Very nice. Next box then, and we've got all the metal parts and other little bits and pieces. These parts bags, rather than being lettered like Tamiya, have number ranges. So this bag 1 to 5 covers steps 1 to 5 in the manual. A great way of doing things that's going to save a lot of time hunting around for the right parts. The build starts with the chassis and servos, so that's what this bag's going to be for. Next we've got 6 to 11, which covers the steering and front axle, which, just like Tamiya, is a metal part painted black. 12 to 17, which must be the rear axle, judging by what looks like the contents of the differential. 18 to 25, and this one must be the gearbox. We've got the end plates, all the shafts, a set of brass gears, and of course a full set of bearings. There's actually no bushings in the entire kit. 26, this one only covers one step, but it is the coupler, so there's a few rather small parts in there. 27 to 29, and it looks like we've got the rest of the coupler, and the bits that mount it to the chassis. There's other stuff in there too, but it's hard to see with all those little bags in there. 30 to 40, and I can see the rear light brackets, so this one has to be pretty much the last of the bits on the chassis. 41 to 57, this one is the last of the numbered bags, so it must be the bits to put the cab together. There's a lot of small bits, along with a big bracket that makes up the hinge for the front of the cab. Then we've got this bag marked C3, which just contains 4 rod ends, and even stranger still, there's an unmarked bag with lots of screws in. Maybe spares? Who knows? The tyres feel quite nice. They are of course very solid, just like Tamiya ones, but they do come with the wider front ones and 4 narrow ones for the rear. They should do the job well enough. A completely unmarked motor. Now visually it's the same as the likes of the Ghoul RC without the label. I can't remember where I read it, but I've got an idea it's 35 turn, so we will end up needing to swap it out for something a bit slower. It'll come in useful enough for another model though, as I'm sure it's a perfectly good little motor. Here's the typical little tool bag, complete with some grease pots and some silicone oil which has leaked half its contents. I think we're going to keep this bag sealed up and use other tools and lube for the build. There's a rather nice looking decal sheet and a nice little sub sheet with chrome Actros lettering. A nice little extra that I really wasn't expecting. And lastly, there's the manual. The general quality of the print is rather good and clear. There's no issues reading any of the part numbers. It's fairly obvious that it's been copied almost directly from the Tamiya manual, with just a few bits moved around. There's a couple of new bits where the build does differ from Tamiya, but they are quite rare. So this is what you get for your 200 quid. We still need to add some servos, ESC and receiver at the very least to get it running, but you'd need to do that with a Tamiya too, and that usually comes in at over 300 quid. We'll have to wait for the build to see if we end up having to replace and upgrade parts just to get it working, but hopefully, like the trailers, it's going to go together nicely and be a good runner. So that's it for this week then. I wasn't going to upload this video until next week, but I haven't had the chance to start the HGP407 upgrades yet, so maybe I'll do that next time. For now though, that's your lot, so thanks for watching, like if you liked, subscribe if you haven't, and please leave a message after the tone. Bye guys!